No longer call me Minutes of Horror. Now call me Minutes of Planes. I like that. You are now within minutes of planes, because in this video, we're going to look at just how scary turbulence is said to become. Now, make no mistake about it, I do make a lot of plane stories. People do say, well, I must be an agent of the government. I must be a part of the Illuminati in this grand plan to stop people from flying, to scare people from flying. That is only because this mode of transportation is the only mode of public transportation that seems to be having any major problems. Case in point, people in the comment section of my videos will tell me, well, what about that guy that cut off that guy's head on the bus in Canada? Then I go to look it up, and that story happened 15 years ago. That's how many weird bus stories are in the news. But I keep my comment section open for recommendations, and I absolutely love recommendations. Matter of fact, this story right here about this turbulence was recommended to me by a subscriber in the comment section of my most recent video. So if you do have any recommendations about any stories of any other modes of transportation like cruises, buses, or trains, please let me know, because I do look forward to them. Now, before we get into that very crazy story, on December 4th, severe turbulence on an Emirates Airlines flight left around 14 injured. Many felt like it was the end. One passenger on that Emirates flight even wrote that he genuinely felt like that was the end. The incident happened on an Emirates flight EK421 from Perth to Dubai when the plane began shaking violently, according to the West Australian. This scene on this flight was so chaotic that people were actually hitting the ceiling to the ground twice and even smashed the ceiling in. People were screaming, crying, praying, but eventually, the plane landed in Dubai at around 4:45 a.m. local time. The flight was met by medical services on landing, and Emirates had also deployed its care team to ensure the injured passengers and crew are provided all possible support. But oddly enough, like with every plane story in 2023, this would not be the last time we would hear something like this. Matter of fact, there has been an overabundance of news when it comes to turbulence. People being injured, chaotic scenes on planes, and people have to be carried out on stretchers. So what could be causing this rapid increase in turbulence where it's just knocking passengers all across the airplane? Oh right, climate change, the big bad boogeyman in any story. Woman gets robbed at the ATM? Climate change. Grand Theft Auto 6 won't be coming out for another 2 years? Climate change. So the news is now saying bad news for nervous flyers. Jet stream is getting faster thanks to climate change and could lead to severe in-flight turbulence, study warns. Phone footage is increasingly showing terrifying air turbulence that can throw people around an aircraft cabin, causing severe injuries and even ending lives. A new University of Chicago-led study warns that events like this could become even more common, and is due to none other than climate change. The authors say global warming is speeding up winds in the jet streams due to density changes in the air of Earth's atmosphere. Now, if I were a betting man, I would say that billionaires, people who own private jets, people like Klaus Schwab who own private jets, probably are not facing this turbulence issue. And I actually do have proof of this. Now, don't get me wrong, private jets do face turbulence. Turbulence is normal. But it's us commoners, us common folk, that are facing the severe turbulence. But this article goes on to state these faster wind speeds cause more violent updrafts and downdrafts, resulting in severe turbulence for planes. And we already know global warming and severe turbulence have increased in tandem since the 1970s. But the new study identifies the cause and effect. The new study was led by researchers at the University of Chicago and National Center for Atmospheric Research. Based on these results and our current understanding, we expect record-breaking winds, said Professor Tiffany Shaw. That's nice, another Tiffany, at the University of Chicago. This study finds it's likely that this will feed into decreased flight times, increased clear air turbulence, and a potential increase in severe weather occurrence. Basically, what they're saying is what we're seeing on video when it comes to these turbulence, these severe turbulence. This is going to be the new normal. Now, where have we heard that saying once before, new normal? Biden's FEMA director says extreme weather will be the new normal after the fires that took place in Hawaii. So not only as the world warms are we going to be seeing these bizarre weather patterns where tropical depressions turn into Category 5 hurricanes overnight, But also, as the world warms, the fastest upper level jet stream winds will get faster and faster, by about 2% for every degree Celsius as the world warms. But not everything is scary as it seems. Yes, you'll be thrown around inside your airplane, but scientists already know that one potentially positive effect of the jet stream is faster flights, depending on what direction the plane is heading. For commercial planes, like I said, you know those planes us commoners fly on, the most problematic type of turbulence at the moment is known as clear air turbulence. CAT is invisible. As I stated, as the study states, climate change is increasing clear air turbulence, the type of turbulence that commercial airlines have to deal with. Not private airlines, but commercial airlines. Now, that's not to say that private jets can't face clear air turbulence. They can. But the thing is, when it comes to private jets, they do have more options than commercial airliners to avoid clear air turbulence. Matter of fact, private jets actually do have a lot more options to avoid different types of turbulence as opposed to a commercial airliner. So oddly enough, as coincidence may have it, we have another climate change story that doesn't affect billionaires and their private jets. Make that make sense. Even though we have stories coming out stating that billionaires and their private jets are causing more damage to the environment, to the climate, than any commercial airliners ever could. But ask yourself, do you think we'll ever see Klaus Schwab and his lackeys flying on commercial airliners as he goes from place to place, warning those about climate change and how we have to make all these changes, including getting rid of private cars in California to protect the environment? No, I really don't think we're going to see that anytime soon. This whole climate change agenda is utter nonsense. They have been playing with the weather since the 40s. They have been manipulating the weather since the 40s, if not before then. There is so many times you can manipulate the weather until the weather starts to bite back. This air around us, nature, it's a living thing, just like any animal, just like any human. And there are so many times you can poke and prod at something until it strikes back, until it starts to attack. So there's either one of two things happening here. Either they are manipulating the weather to make the weather more terrifying, make the atmosphere even worse, because it's very funny how their private jets can avoid this type of turbulence, or they are, like I said, they keep experimenting with nature, and now nature is fed up, or perhaps possibly both. But in any case, thank you so much for watching. If you like this channel and you want to see more, please subscribe. If you're already subscribed, please like, as any engagement does help the channel grow. Once again, thank you so much for your support.